It's Monday morning, and I think this Monday will be included with the last Monday because last week was crazy. It is fall here in Vermont. Can you tell? I don't think you can tell looking yet. There's some trees changing. Some trees have already changed. You see the orange over there on those trees? That's happening. But look, see, some of the leaves have fallen already. They're on the ground. Crab apples are ripe and ready if you make crab apple jelly, which I haven't yet, but I'd love to. A friend of mine does. And so the days are getting cooler. That means I have to move all the clay I have outside in the studio. Not today, but soon. And we're not even at the peak. We got a couple more weeks before peak, but things are just starting. Anyhow, last week was so crazy. We're fixing up a house for my daughter, and we've been doing a lot of electric work while having it done and having to be there and do stuff. So I didn't get as much studio time done as I planned, so I'm gonna make up for it this week. But we're gonna start another great week. Lots of fall ideas, fall projects. I've got some unboxings I'm gonna be sharing on Good Morning Clay Share this morning, so you have to come or go watch that actually, because that's already happened. Oh yeah, it's looking very fall in the reflection. Here, we'll actually turn around. You can definitely tell the trees are starting to change. All right, so off to the studio, and I'll share more as we go through the week. All right, I've got mugs. I've got mugs here. Got a whole bunch of mugs. So I've got to load up a bisque this morning because we're glazing this week. Yay! So this is the E23T kiln. This one right here. It's 3 sections tall. Each section's 9 inches. So you do your math. What's 27 inches tall? Is that right? I think that's right. Anyhow, I'm going to be glazing this. So let's set these, glazing these Wednesday. So we have here, let me set these down because all the mugs that I've been making with the fall Halloween themed textures that I have. So I did the spider webs. I did the Halloween friends. I have this one. I cannot wait to do some spiced autumn treat mugs. I'm so excited for that one because as soon as they're out of the kiln, I'm using those. Some more spiced autumn treats. Spiced autumn treats, spiced autumn treats. What's over here? And then the bats, little bats. Look how cute that one is. That one's super cute. So those are going in the kiln right now. And I think I'll probably put them on the bottom. I don't like to... and this is a good chance to talk about when you're loading your kiln for firing. And I have done a few classes on that for you all, so you can check that out. But, you know, the bottom of the kiln, I try not to put any flat plates down there. Now, sometimes I do because it's one single shelf and it's a big shelf. And I think I'm going to zoom down. There you go. That's a little more realistic looking. So this shelf here is, I believe, 21 inches across. So it's a pretty good sized shelf. So I can do large pieces on it. And I have 3 of them. So I can do 3 plates that size in this kiln. But that's the reason I got the bigger kiln, because that's a 28-inch around kiln. So that one there will give me pieces up to, I believe, 26 inches, because you got to allow a couple inches for spacing with your shelves and the brick and everything. So this right here, we're going to do all of the haunted houses plates that we made last week, a week before actually, because they're completely dry and they're right here. Let's go look at those. So these guys right here, and they're not so big. I mean, they're not the biggest thing, and I could probably maybe get 2 on a shelf in my bigger kiln. In the smaller kiln, I can get 1. But then we'll do the ghosts. So I got a ghost plate, and then covered is a bunch more things. So I'm going to load that up today so we can glaze. But what happens when we're loading a kiln and we put a big flat piece on the bottom, it tends to hold a lot of heat down there, and that can cause some cracking sometimes when you put a big piece on the bottom. Now, if you let your kiln cool slowly and naturally, you won't have any problems. But if you do a fast speed cool, what happens is the top of your kiln will be much cooler than the bottom, and it will mislead you, and you will think that you can pull those things out when they're really too hot to come out. So there's things I've learned like firsthand by having pieces crack. So let's go ahead and get these mugs loaded up, and we will fire them, I am going to do let's go ahead and clear this out and I'll set it up for you and you can see a ceramic bisque, slow. Yes, I want it on slow, but I don't think I want an 8-hour preheat. So let's go in and adjust that preheat. Mugs that have been dry for a week, plates that have been dry for about a week. We're gonna do a 1-hour preheat. Even though it's a slow fire, I still like a little bit of a preheat and no hold at the end. So that's it. And then I'll just hit go. It'll take about 16 hours to do the firing. And then that means it'll finish up tonight at about 11 p.m. And then I will unload it tomorrow, probably around lunchtime. It cools about in 12 hours from a bisque. And I also do leave the vent on. That's a really good thing I wanted to mention. I have my vent system here and I do leave that on here. This is currently, it's set up. Now it's on. It's set up on this modular system. It's really great. And if you haven't seen our class on putting in a modular vent system, here it is for the baby test kiln. That's where it connects. This is where it connects for this kiln. And if you look further down, over there, down there, you can see where it connects to the E28 over there. Now that baby kiln, my little Gojira here, this one doesn't use a vent, remember? This one is ventless, so that one doesn't have to be connected in. But I turn the vent on now just to show you. I'm gonna turn it off. But when I do a bisque, not usually with a glaze, although you can leave the vent on. I like to turn the vent off at the end of a glaze firing. But with a bisque firing, sometimes I do leave the vent on, and that just lets things cool a little bit faster. Sometimes we're in a hurry, but it won't hurt the pieces. So it's a safe way to speed up cooling. All right, let me quit talking and let's load these mugs. Alrighty, so I'm loading this kiln for a bisque fire, and I have a certain amount of mugs that I wanted to get in here. And you can see there's an empty shelf, and you might be thinking, well, why aren't you just putting those over there? Well, I do have like this tray here, this pumpkin tray. And I also have this ghost, this carved tray, a bowl that's not sitting here right now, and then that little tray. And I really want to get these all in the kiln. And if I take up all the flat space with these vertical forms, I won't be able to. So what I've done is, instead of taking up valuable floor space with a mug sitting like that, well, there'd be two, right? I'm doing what's called tumble stacking. And I don't do this a lot, but you can do it, and you can do it safely. And there are many potters that this is how they don't use kiln shelves. Did you know that? There's potters that don't use kiln shelves. They don't use these shelves right here. They tumble stack their whole kiln. It's amazing. I don't do that, but I tumble stack when I need to. And so for that, all you do is you be careful when you're setting your pieces in. You don't want to nest pieces inside each other because they could get stuck when they shrink during the firing. So what I do is I just take, usually I do it with mugs, but I will just set a mug in the rim. See, I just set it in there, and the handle can gently rest on a mug next to it, or it can free float. The handle doesn't have to touch anything at all. It can just hang out like that. It's not going to warp anything. It's not going to hurt anything at all. So we'll do the same thing with this one right here, and I will come in so you can see. Let me get over here. I'm just going to set this down in. Now you notice how I'm using mugs that kind of have a wide mouth. This one here will fit nicely in this one's rim, right in there. See how that worked? I wouldn't have done it on this little guy. The little one I would have stacked, but he's so small that he fits perfectly in this little area. So there's a little tumble stacking, you know, kind of fun to do. And you can easily do it with a few mugs. Just keep in mind, if you stack too many things, it can be too much pressure during the firing. You get some cracking, and you could potentially get warping. I do sometimes tumble stack. Well, I don't even call it tumble stack, but I will sometimes stack plates within each other, but usually only one or two, and usually when they're getting smaller. So there's a little, it's all about loading kilns this week. It's a stunningly beautiful fall day here. And I found this beautiful leaf. Wow, look at that. Imagine glazing something with those colors. Such inspiration. That green, that orange, so nice. So it's Thursday. That means last night we had our live broadcasts. I'm just getting to the studio this morning. Let me turn lights on. You guys get to come with me. And I want to show you reality here. So we finished the broadcast at about 8 o'clock last night after a long day. So I just left everything right here and didn't even clean up my stuff. I left everything out. So I wanted to just show you what we did. So we went ahead and did the glazing tutorial, and that was the glazing where we were glazing plates and trays that had underglaze, decals, and texture. We didn't do this unicorn one or the alien one, but we did this. And you would have seen that. It has a flower border, so that's gonna go in the kiln. This is a Christmas gnome under there. This one was a bouquet of flowers. So that's an underglaze decal in the center, but you can't see it till it's been fired. You have to wait. And then this tray, which has some beautiful echinacea. So these all are going to go in the kiln. My plan for this morning is I'm going to do more glazing. So that's why I'm leaving everything right here. I'm just going to glaze. And hopefully we'll have a kiln opening Sunday. So I just really was excited to share that with you. And then I do want to share a couple other things. Did I tell you I got some new textures? I would apologize, but I'm not sorry because they're so cute. I did this little gingerbread cottage mini roller, and I did this snowflake icing, and I will have a gingerbread man one too. Look how cute these are. This is the snowflake icing. So the idea behind this design was just to make something look like piped icing. And this is the Tucker's CCSS clay. That's something entirely different. We can't talk about that here. Let's just cover that back up. That's what's happening here and there, and I don't know if it's gonna do anything or not. Here's the gingerbread cottage and the snowflake icing together on a tree form. And then look, I did some mugs with them. Ooh, wow, that's still really wet. Look how wet that clay is. I made these a couple days ago. So this is the gingerbread, cottage right here. And this is the snowflake icing. So they're meant to work together or separately. The idea behind them was if you do, come over here and look at this one. If you just really like this beautiful, sweet, wintry, but just because of snowflakes, but still really sweet design, you could do that. Or you can combine it with the cottage. That's something else. Let's go back over here. I guess I just got to show you this one. I know I did some cottage trays. I just don't know where they went. Maybe they're on, gosh, I don't even know. Oh, here we go. There it is. So here's the gingerbread cottage, and it repeats. So it's the front entryway of a cottage with a bit of the side, and then there's the snowflake icing, top and bottom. So they work together or separately. Anyhow, that's a little thing that I'm working on, and I do have a third one, but I haven't put it out yet. I just fired this, the Bisque, and it is complete at 120 degrees. Let's take a peek. The tumble stack I was talking to you about, everything looks good. 120 is still warm. I'm gonna let it cool a bit longer. So we'll get to this probably tomorrow morning. I'll unload it. I'm working a half day today because it's the Tunbridge Fair. Yes, it's a Vermont fair. And I might share some of it with you. If you've never been to a Vermont fair, they are wonderful. It's a traditional country fair. It's agricultural, there's food, there's carnival rides, there's historical elements too. I'll check out pottery at the Tunbridge Fair and share it with you. Let me just open this up all the way so it can start to cool down a bit more. I really am excited to glaze the Spiced Autumn treats here. And there's a bunch of Halloween ones down in there. That's a picture we carved. Do you remember? We did that together. And this is a teapot body that I didn't put the spout or handle on, so I just made a beautiful holiday themed lidded jar because it has my winter berries design on it. And that's going to be for like Christmas cookies, and not the ones you put on the plate for Santa, but the ones that you would have just stored to snack on during the holiday season. And then of course the ghost tray. but I'll share the fair with you all. I'm excited to go, and it's kind of an annual tradition. We go to the fair. That's what I have to share in the studio. So today's a half in the studio, half out of the studio. We'll see if I put the out of studio in the vlog. Antique Log Cabin Museum, and it does kind of look like a log cabin. Wanted to come in because they have some old pottery in here. Boxes up top would have been cheese boxes. And then they would have had the stoneware for milk, everything. You'd store your grains in there, and then fancy stuff. Happy Glaze Day here in the studio. I just unloaded the E23T right here, and this is everything that was in it. I don't know, does it look like a lot? I don't think so. It's only because there was a lot of plates, and plates take up a lot of space. So we've got a bunch of Halloween things. We got this Halloween tray. We got these cute ghosts that I did. Here's a personalized one I did for my daughter. And then I've got some mugs. These are some Halloween themed mugs. And then I also have just some super cute mugs that are fall. And this one I made a topper. So you guys can go make those. I have classes on all of this. Some of the carved things we did back in August for the Diamond Core tools. So I'm gonna get those done. The teapot, here is actually a lidded jar, and the lid fits only one way. But, you know, you gotta keep turning till you get it. Oh, there it is. Some pumpkin plates, fall plate, some haunted houses, but of course they could be Christmas houses too. Whatever you want. There's a Christmas house. So I've got to glaze some of these. I'm not going to glaze all this. This is just where I put everything to get it out of the kiln so I can look at it. Because if we come over here, and I show this all the time, I have an insane amount of bisque ware that needs to be glazes. Some are future classes. Some are just projects we're working on, classes we've done in the past. So I've got to go through this, and I've got even more over here to deal with. So some of that's going to get done. With Open Studio coming, I really want to get a lot of things glazed. So there'll be stuff for folks that if they want to take some things home, they can. One of the moon phase wall hangings right there. So that's got to go in the kiln. And these are pieces I've glazed for this plate, this tray, and this tray we glazed on Wednesday. This is one of the bread plates or toast plates from back this summer when we did them with Debbie's cutters, her bread cutters. I love those. If you haven't seen these yet, go watch the video on that. I had so much fun making those. Those little bread plates are the cutest. I think I've got the cutters. Which drawer? It's a guessing game. I keep all my De La Design cutters in here. There they are. There's the breads. Look how big this is. Oh my gosh, it's huge. So all the bread cutters live in that drawer. And I've got more of Debbie's cutters just came, so I've got to make room for those. So what I'm going to do is glaze today, and if everything goes according to plan, we will have a kiln opening on Sunday. I'll record it live so that everybody can see all the things that come out of the kiln, and I will have some Halloween things, but not too many. I want to have more summer. I got a ton of summer things to finish up I want to get done, and some fall things. So I'll probably do another quick video when I get all the glazing done so you guys can see it all. So I've been doing some flooding. It's not really flooding so much as hand painting the colors on these haunted house plates. Got one here, one here. I'm using the colors for Earth Color Concentrates. You can see those are them there. And I'm just watering them down a little bit and then applying them like watercolor. Of course, I did apply a black underglaze to the entire surface to begin with, wiped that back so that the black filled in all the recessed areas. And now, what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna put a clear glaze. I love it the way it is. I don't wanna mess with it. I don't want to add too many more colors. I really wanna keep the Halloween theme, so I'm just gonna leave that be. And then same with this one here. I might go ahead and mother of pearl luster these after they're fired. We'll have to wait and see what they end up looking like. And this one's just gonna get clear. So I've got a lot more things to do, but hopefully I can get everything done and get this kiln loaded and firing so we can have a kiln opening on Sunday. So I had big plans to glaze enough pots for 4 kilns, and I think I did pretty good. These are all the things I got glazed today, except for that jar in the back didn't get done yet. But it's getting close to 8 o'clock at night, Friday, end of a long week, and so I think I'm going to be done. So this is 1 tablesful of pots. I got all these here on the end of the slab roller, and then these 3 up here, and then this little pile at the end here. I didn't get these done. So all the pots I planned to do is that 1 jar, and then these here didn't get glazed. I mean, there's still a lot of pieces in the studio, as you can see, but I did get quite a few, and I'm going to keep working. And then this pitcher I glazed as well. So that's drying. Actually, it's about ready for me to pick up, and I'm just going to wipe the bottom. And then I'm going to load these in the kiln. I think I will fill this. Well, I know I'll fill this one. I might have enough to start filling this one here. And if that's the case, then what I'll do is maybe tomorrow I'll come out and glaze a bit for a few hours in the morning and try to get this done. I probably could, 4 more hours, get enough pots to fill this kiln too. So I could get this one going tonight. It'll be done by the morning. This one starting by noon tomorrow. And if I have time, get this one going too, the cone 10. But we'll have to wait and see, won't we? I'm not sure. There's only so many hours in the day. But I'm really, really happy with how these look. You can't tell right now, but the glazes I picked, it's amazing. And this one right here, actually it's this one. This could be the best thing in the kiln. So you have to wait and see. All right, so I loaded and firing the E23T, and I just filled the E28S. I have no more shelves, so you know what that means. It's time to fire. So in one day, I glazed enough pots for 2 kilns. If I wanted to hang out for another hour, I could glaze the pots for the 2 baby kilns, but it's late, and I think I've done enough. There is a lot. There's a lack of pots. So I'll glaze the others in a few days. I don't know. I'll get it done soon though, but we're gonna have 2 kiln openings here pretty soon. Here they are, all 12, 3 coats brushed on the test tiles. So now I'm gonna take them over and load them into the kiln. Super excited. I think I'm most excited about the fuzzy peach, but we'll see. We'll see how they all look. So I did get 4 kilns firing. These 2 I started last night. This one I started about a half an hour ago. And this one I just started. So yeah, I glazed enough pots to fill 4 kilns. And I'm never doing that again. So it's, Saturday morning, it's 9:30. I'm still working. I'm actually about to leave. We're going to go to a thing called the Whoopie Pie Festival up in Rutland. And I'm so excited because they have gluten-free whoopie pies. Not saying I'll only eat the gluten-free, but, it's kind of nice to have the options. This has got the new Spectrum glazes. The top is the just some pieces, and the bottom is test tiles. This one is too hot. We're at 1538 on that one. Let's see what this one's at. This one is at 1678. These are all cone 5, these 3. This one's cone 10. So it just started, 76 degrees. So they'll be done. And there are people here. I'm not leaving these kilns firing, and I'm just running off being irresponsible. I just am not going to be here. So, all right, I'll check back when they're done. Can you hear the crunching of the leaves over the sound of the blowers? That's for making rolling pins. Well, there's no more leaves to hear. Look at the tree starting to change, my maple out front. Isn't it pretty? It starts at the top and then it will work its way down. But what happens is the leaves will start to fall. By the time the whole tree is turned, half of it will be bare. Which, that's just how it is. So pretty though. All right, so it's Sunday afternoon. I've actually been making rolling pins today, so I haven't been in the studio. But we'll go in now. I got my ice melt, I'm ready. This is a safe one for pets, so if any animals walk on it, but you never know. Let's come on in. I wanted to share quickly. I don't know if I shared, we've been packing up my other studio. Look, here's a bunch of things from my other studio. We've moved down here. I have to go through all these boxes, supplies, tools, and things. And look, all the kilns are done, complete. 90 degrees. So tomorrow I'm going to have a kiln opening. I'm going to have 4. Want to peek though? I'll let you guys peek. Ooh, anything look good in there? This is the cone 10 kiln. That'll wait till tomorrow. Shut that up. Let's see, 130. This is the E28S. We'll do a little peek. Why not? Oh my, yes. Oh, very pretty. Oh, it's gonna be so good. All right, so that'll be Monday, kiln opening. We'll shut it back up. We won't tell anybody we peeked. They won't know. This one's at 146, so it's a little hotter. We'll do a very quick peek on this one then. This is the E23T. Oh, interesting. How some of those glazes turned out. Oh, everything else looks really good in there. Okay, did you see? Wait, did you see? So we'll unload those again tomorrow. By the time this vlog goes up, that will have already happened. So you can go watch that. And then this, the baby kiln, this is the test kiln. We're at 100 degrees. This went to cone 5, and it was a test of all the Spectrum new floating glazes. And I put some on the pieces on the top, but then the next shelf down is all test tiles. So we'll go through all those tomorrow. So that's what I did. I had a massive glazing week. I still got buckets out from my glazing. It was a combination of staining and wiping away, of flooding, of brush on, and dip and pour. And it does look like the studio's kind of slightly wrecked, but not too bad. So let's go on up and end our week. Oh, there's more things that I got from the studio down in Arlington. So I also do painting. So I've got some of my painting boards. This all goes upstairs here in the studio space. Some paints, some encaustic. That's made with beeswax. Some paintings I did back in graduate school. But that's all going to get sorted and dealt with the next week. So look how beautiful. So Open Studio is coming 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's the 5th and 6th. So this will be up before Open Studio weekend. But can you really tell 1 week to the next that we're getting into autumn? I think you can if you look over a ways. So we saw this house for the first time. It was October of 2020 when we looked at the house. So it's almost the time. It's almost been 4 years since we first saw the house. And then we closed in January and then moved in April. We had to do a bunch of work on it. But we kept our other house, and our daughter is moving in there with some friends. So that's where my other studio is. So I have a full 2-story barn down there that's a studio that we couldn't sell that property. It's a long story because I didn't have a new studio. So we built this studio last year, and I've just been moving everything up to this studio space. But in that meantime, that almost 2.5 years, I was still making pots here in the carriage house, which the carriage house is not this barn. This is the old original barn. That's like the animal barn. And the chickens are in there currently. But that blue step right there, that blue part right there, the back end is the carriage house of the house. So that's where I worked for almost 2 years, 2.5 years. So anyhow, I had so much stuff that I left a lot of finished pots down there in the gallery space and a lot of equipment because I didn't have space for it up here. But now I'm bringing everything up, and all my painting and other non-clay printmaking stuff, because I am a multi-material artist, not just potter, although mostly pots, mostly clay. All right, what What a beautiful day it is here. I'm gonna go enjoy the rest of this evening and hang out. Maybe we'll do a little campfire. And we'll be back tomorrow, start of a new week, and kiln opening. So thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great week.